Join the coven. I Hunt Reverse Vampires. A story written by Cecily 1987. Part 6. The infiltration started at night. All four of us hurried up the main road, staying close to the shadows. A quick peek in one of the houses revealed a cluster of half-turned sleeping together, all huddled up and glowing. They must all be inside the houses. This left the town with a very creepy ghost town. The villa sat on a hill. A large whitewashed brick gate surrounded it, with lights pointing outward. Alejandro sniffed the air before saying, "I don't smell any guards on the walls. Conrad is too cocky to believe he is at risk of an attack." At this, we located a guard shack connected to the big wall by the main entrance gate. We heaved Voss atop of it to set up his defensive position. As I handed up his grenade launcher, I said, "Time for you to earn a cool new body part, choir boy." Voss just stared at me with a mixture of boredom and annoyance. Think Jim Halpert from The Office. The rest of us circled the perimeter to the back to scale the wall. Once I got over, I had my first good view of the giant villa with its red roof, white stucco walls, lavish garden, and multiple pools. Conrad was really living in style, while the rest of the village slept in shanty houses. I was equipped with a full auto Glock 17 with a suppressor attached. Slung over my back was a heavy AA-12 auto shotgun with drum mag, just in case things popped off. Alejandro was equipped with a silenced MP5 with two serrated machetes across his back. With his mauve strength, he could chop off heads with ease. Mika was our support, equipped with a one-shot blooper grenade launcher and tons of grenades on her bandolier. "Conrad's witch will probably have the house warded," Alejandro spoke in a hushed tone as we huddled around him. "It would require too much power to cover the whole property with a warding spell. So I think we're safe for now." He turned to Mika. "You stay out here and jam her spell. If we have to make fast exfil, you hammer the building with everything you've got." Mika nodded and began setting up for her spell by producing pouches of materials and unfolding a board with runes written upon it. We gave her about 3 minutes before she began chanting softly. She waved us away to carry on with our mission. Alejandro put on his ghoulish mask. As we darted around the pool, we came up to a locked glass door. The lock on the door popped, and the glass door slid open about 6 inches. Mika had managed an unlocking spell while jamming the witch's warding spell. She's a genius. In we snuck like shadows. The house was dark, but a low rumble of music was coming from the floor above us. We made our way past 2 giant pool tables to locate a side stairway. It was a skinny set of steep stairs with white walls sandwiching it on either side. We heard descending footsteps and loud talking. A tall Mexican man with face tattoos turned the corner at the bottom of the stairs while talking on his phone. Unfortunately, he turned right into Alejandro. Alejandro grabbed him quickly by the top of his bulletproof vest and stuck the MP5 to the center of the thug's head. It was only an instant. The man didn't even have time to scream as 3 sharp coughs from the weapon annihilated his face. The phone clattered to the ground with the tinkle of shells, while Alejandro just held him out like smelly garbage. Alejandro slammed his foot down on the phone and walked around the corner to lie the dead man down in the shadows. It was all so fast and emotionless. A shiver ran down my spine at the thought of Alejandro when he was under the control of his cruel mauve master. "We go up," he said. When he came back around the corner, "Don't dwell on it, Taylor. I need you on my 6 for this." I followed him up to the well-lit second floor. There was a common room bigger than my house back in Idaho. It had couches, statues, and multiple TVs blaring loud music. At the opposite wall was a long hallway with rooms on either side. Alejandro motioned for me to take position behind a couch. He fished around through a pile of remotes on an ottoman before finding the one he needed. He cranked up the volume on the TV to an unbearable level. Soon after, we heard yelling between 2 men down the hallway, probably arguing about who was going to turn the volume down. Whoever lost the argument stomped down the hallway, cursing under his breath. He leaned over the ottoman to search through all the remotes. Alejandro peeked out from behind a love seat and fired one muffled shot into the back of the man's head. The man plopped down onto the ottoman, very dead. Alejandro then turned the volume down on the TV. "Gracias, Panejo," came a call from a room on the right side of the hallway. I was amazed on how efficient Alejandro was. Now we knew where our next hostel was. I followed Alejandro down the hallway. He cut off into the room to let 3 quick bursts of his weapon, only re-emerged back into the hallway a second later. We stacked up on either side of the doorway at the end of the hallway. This had to be the master bedroom. Conrad was surely inside. Alejandro retrieved a grenade from one of his many pouches. It was a special grenade, a magical grenade. Instead of a brilliant flash of light, it let out a cloud of impenetrable darkness. All noise within the cloud was muted. This in turn would light up a mob like a Christmas tree, but they couldn't see anything from within it. Alejandro pulled the pin, but held the lever secure. He looked at me with his wide-eyed mask and whispered, "We kill everything in the room. I can't have you hesitate." I nodded back, and he popped the door open and tossed in the blackout grenade. Of course it made no sound, so we waited a second before entering. In the middle of the giant master bedroom was a dark cloud of magic, consuming a 10-foot radius in front of the bed. We scanned the room for anyone else, but saw nobody, so we focused our weapons back on the black fog. There wasn't a mauve glowing in the fog, but the carpet on the floor was moving back and forth, like someone was shuffling their feet inside it. The black fog should last around 30 seconds. We both waited for it to clear up or someone to come rushing out at us. My finger was steady on the trigger. About 15 seconds in, and the impossible happened. A cackling laughter emitted from the dark mass, laughing voices overlapping each other. The black fog blew away and dispersed to reveal 3 women huddled together. The 3 elderly women had similar coarse black hair and beady eyes. They were all wearing flowing garments with multiple necklaces and bracelets. All 3 of them were slightly hunched over and grinning at us. These were our witches. Not 1, but 3 of them. "Tell the girl outside she can stop trying to out-magic us," the middle one croaked. "We foretold Conrad of this attack on his life by the Ahmet's attack dogs," the right one squealed in a shrill voice. "You will tell me where he is, Bruja," Alejandro demanded. All 3 of the women began laughing harder. "Don't try to charm us, you Ahmet lackey," the left one said. "I'll tell you where he is. He is in his bunker under the house." "Why would you tell us this?" I asked. I was getting a terrible feeling in my stomach about all of it. "Because, Taylor, you will die in this town regardless," one said while giggling. "We knew Ahmet would send sicarios. When we killed their messengers, it was easy to focus the all-seeing eye on your organization to predict your next move. It was foretold you will fail in your assassination attempt." At this moment, we heard screaming and banging from downstairs. It was a tumultuous uproar. We later found out Conrad was not just feeding on his human trafficked slaves, but turning more of them to store in his bunker. Alejandro turned to point his weapon down the hallway to the stairs, where the noise was coming from. It was a good 30 feet away from us. "Kill the 3 of them, Taylor." I leveled my pistol at the trio and tried to get a bead in the middle of the witch's face. My head was pierced with a sharp pain. It was like staring into a spotlight when you're having a migraine. No matter how hard I tried, my pistol kept jerking to the side or up too high over them. They cackled relentlessly as they walked to the side wall of the room. I could only keep track of them out of the peripheral of my vision, due to the blinding pain of looking at them. They knock on a part of the wall to reveal one of those damn Scooby-Doo hidden door walls. You know, the kind that spin around. They slipped away and I heard a metallic clank of a locking mechanism locking it shut. I cursed aloud. "I got movement in this town." Voss's voice crackled on our headsets. "I'm guessing things haven't gone as planned?" "No, far from it," Alejandro muttered. "Voss, prepare for incoming hostiles. Mika, get ready to lay down suppressing fire when you see us," Alejandro commanded into his mic. The first of the half-turned breached the top of the stairs, a snarling and bloody male child. I couldn't pull the trigger when I saw him. There was still hope for him if we killed Conrad, right? I was so distraught I didn't see the grenade in his hand. The child was halfway to us when a red burst jerked his head backwards and he crumpled to the ground. That's when the grenade went off, showering the hallway with blood, rubble, and smoke. My ears were still ringing when Alejandro grabbed me and lifted his mask so I could see his eyes. "I will compel you if you do not fight, Taylor." "Yeah, okay," I said, snapping out of my shock. We both turned back to the hallway to see 3 more rabid, half-turned tripping over themselves as they crested the stairs. What looked like a man, a woman, and a young girl. All wore ill-fitting flak vests and helmets. Alejandro's shot stuttered them, but they continued to make ground on us. I waited until they were about 5 feet away before shooting from the hip with the auto shotty, letting loose with an automatic burst of dragon's breath. I have to say, if it wasn't so sad, it would have been beautiful. The 3 mobs exploded backwards into multiple burning pieces. They had been so close I could feel my face and hands burn. The hallway was now decorated with sprinkles of fire and burning body parts. Another group of half-turned were bunching up at the top of the stairs again. This time I could see that they held some sort of ballistic shield. Half-turned were idiots, but their master could give basic mental commands when nearby. Alejandro shot the one carrying the shield in the front, and it stumbled over, dropping the shield. Alejandro peppered the group as they retreated back down the stairs. The one shot in the foot pulling the shield back with them. This bought us some time. Alejandro slung his empty weapon and pulled out both of his machetes, and I knew it was best not to fire until they got close. We were going to be overrun. I thought of a stupid idea, but it was less stupid than getting within melee range of the vicious horde. "Mika, target the room with 4 windows at the corner of the villa. Make us a way out," I yelled. There was a pause. Then Mika replied, "Okay, 1 sec." "We don't have a sec, Mika," I said as the half-turn formed a wicked Congo line to shuffle down the hallway, holding the shield in front of them. They were 5 deep, with more and more gathering at the stairs. When they got close enough, Alejandro jumped out and pulled the shield down with all his might. It lowered enough for me to step forward and put the barrel of my weapon to the lead half-turned chest. This resulted with a deafening repeated thumps from my AA-12, turning the hallway into a tunnel of gore and fire. decimating the line of attackers. My drum mag was empty. I only had 2 8-round straight mags left. Alejandro jumped in front of me to challenge the new wave of attackers.
"Stay away from the windows, boys,"
came Mika's warning before the windows and half the wall exploded behind us. I tapped Alejandro on the shoulder and pulled him towards the smoking hole Mika creates. We both jumped down from the second floor to the well-kept bushes underneath. Mika was there waiting for us, already popping smoke grenades to cover our retreat. Mika had a couple special grenades developed by the nerds at Ahmed. The grenade would first shoot jets of highly flammable liquid all over the area before igniting as an incendiary grenade. This would blanket the area in fire, like a fancy Molotov. A couple of those were tossed at the ground below the hole we jumped from, catching the ground on fire and giving the half-turned a fiery death at the bottom. Mika fell in behind us as she dropped smoke and fire grenades. Alejandro was running down the side of the villa to link up with Voss at the front gate. When we approached him, he was kneeling down on top of the guard shack, firing small bursts from his M60. "They aren't rushing the gate. They are all taking cover in the closest houses. Like they're waiting for us," Voss spoke with some confusion in his voice. "It's a trap. They will be on us from behind if we stay here. They mean to swarm us. We need to get back to the van," Alejandro said, up to Voss with excitement and anger. Already a flaming half-turned came screaming towards us from behind. Mika turned and lopped its head off with the machete. We all turned back to Voss. He nodded his head with a silent plan. "So, they mean to force us down the main road to ambush and overwhelm us," Voss explained. "I'll create a path through the backyards of the houses. We can just cut in through the last building to get back on the main street." "Push through or die," I said to him. He actually smiled a little at that. And with that, Voss stood up and let out 6 measured shots from his grenade launcher to rumble in the distance like thunder. He looked back down at us and said, "Okay, let's go. Mika, get your blooper and blow a hole in the gate. We don't have time to climb it," I said with authority. Mika looked at me like I was an idiot. "Or we could just hit the big red button to open it," she said as she pointed to a box with a big red button mounted to the guard shack wall. In a hot minute, all 4 of us were racing down the hill towards the group of shanty houses. I could see Voss's surgical line of destruction blowing fences, sheds, and garbage to form a pretty clear path. It would be about 100 yards through the back of the neighborhood properties before we got to the last house. As we jumped through a blasted hole in the first hurricane fence, we heard the half-turn began screaming all the way down the road. They must have caught on to our plan. Looking behind me, I saw the mobs from the villa racing down the hill behind us with reckless abandon. By the time we got to the second backyard, half-turn began bursting through the windows and doors to intercept us. Voss pulled a Rambo and began firing full auto from the hip into the houses as we strafed past them. The sides of the houses exploded into rubble from the punishing onslaught of bullets. Half-turned were blown back through windows and doorways as soon as they appeared. But where one fell, another glowing jerk took its place in the chase, scuttling hungrily after us. We came to the last house, and we were going to cut a hard right into it and get back on the main road back to our van. The van was about a quarter-mile out from the town. We could make it if we thinned the herd of bloodsuckers chasing us. Half-turned were already camping inside the house, probably having caught on to our plan. Alejandro was first in, slashing fiercely at the unarmored enemies, dropping 3 of them. I came in second while Voss and Mika laid down suppressive fire from the back doorway. I cleared the small house quickly, exploding mobs as they foolishly came in close to attack me. My last few shots piled 3 burning bodies in front of the doorway, creating a makeshift burning barrier. But that's when I saw it, and my heart sank. Outside in the road was our burning van. It was attached to a tow truck by a chain. Glowing mauve stood all around it. But I saw something even worse. "Get down! Take cover!" I yelled to my team. They luckily didn't question me and dropped low as gunshots tore through the house. Human soldiers with automatic rifles stood behind vehicles, firing at us and shredding the front of the house. Alejandro pulled me behind him and grunted as bullets ripped into him. When the barrage finally stopped, we all laid prone, me covering the front and Voss covering the back. I didn't know how we were going to make it out of this dusty town. We were low on ammo, and they could always send in waves of half-turned as bullet sponges. This was some Wild West standoff stuff. We heard the clamor of excitement outside from human soldiers. Me and Alejandro peeked over the shattered windows to see what the fuss was about. The soldiers were pointing in the air at a black helicopter circling the town. The men looked confused and curious. "Oh, hell," Alejandro mumbled. "What?" I answered. "New baddies or friendlies?" "I recognize the clan markings," Alejandro said in a low voice. "It's the Toltec group, and we aren't supposed to be in their territory." That's it right now, folks. Let's just say the Toltec group don't play well with others.